Hey everyone, Shannon Lynn here with Divine Bliss. Now today is going to be a little bit different of a reading than usual. I wanted to explain to you all firstly, I've been going through a lot of changes this last little while and I haven't been on the YouTube channel, and it's been all about the creation series of materials. And what these creation series of materials are channeled books, workbooks, audios, videos, video modules, in helping others to create their best lives and to live their best lives in the now of their lives, also being true to themselves. And so all of these materials have been channeled through me for all of you in helping everyone with all of these things. And so it's also in the manifesting of our own true lives, the lives of our true dreams here in the now of our lives, so that we're living them here in the now as well. And from there, I'll tell you all about my whole process that brought me to here and now. And I am also a twin flame, which I had no idea. I met my twin flame 30 years ago, but I had no idea for 27 and a half of those years what a twin flame even was. But that being said, all through the past 14 and a half years, I have been channeling books, and like I said, books, audios, videos, everything from the divine for all of us, for all of these reasons, to bring all of this forth for you all here now, in creating the life of your true dreams, so that you're now here living that. And so how it all began for me, and now this is just going to be a little bit of an introduction to you all on my journey, how it all started for me and how I got into all of this, how I got into the channeling and how it developed over time and the things that came over time. And so we're just going to start at the beginning and go through a bit, and once we sort of get a little bit out here on my journey and what has brought me through the channeling, the spiritual channeling to the here and now. And then we'll get into a little card reading from there. I always want to, do a little bit of this teaching because they want to bring forth a creation series of materials through this. And then also to bring forth a channel card reading as well, where I'll actually do a channeling for all of you from within the video here, so that you can see what the channeling is all about and what it's become, and also get some information and guidance on whether it be twin flame union, whether it be whatever it is. The channel that they brought forward a few months ago, they wanted to call the channel Divine Bliss Twin Flame Union by Shannon Lynn. So from there on out, from within this channel so far, it's all been about the twin flame journey and the twin flame union and how that comes to be. And also, what I'm feeling now, though, is that these materials, the creation series of materials, are to and for the betterment of the alls always, which just means that they will be of benefit to all. But what I'm feeling is that they're bringing them forth for the collective of the Twin Flame Collective, just because those are the ones that are sort of like stepping up and standing up for all of this here right now, to bring this all on forward to and for the betterment of the alls, so that we can spread the word and bring this all together, so that we can create a better, more, a newer, more improved world for all of us to live and to thrive from within. So I'm not going to say any more on that right now. I just want to sort of help you to see and know a little bit about my journey to here and now, and then we'll do the channel card reading. So how it all started for me was, I'll start right at the very beginning, and that was in the year 2000. And my youngest daughter was one years old. She's going to be 20 here this month, and she was 1. And I woke up from a dream, and you have to think of my background as, when I went to school, I was a real dreamer. I was a real daydreamer in school, and so I was daydreaming most of the time. So I really didn't do well in school. I didn't have good grades. At the end of the lectures in school, I would be like, oh, what just happened? You know, there's a test tomorrow on what kind of thing. So I didn't excel at all, you might say, in school. That's sort of where I felt the most less than was in school. I guess where I'm going with all of this is that it wasn't in my knowing back then, in my conscious knowing, what I would be doing at all when it came to any of this stuff. But there's a few things that happened along the way that sort of make sense now to me, why the things were the way they were and how they came to be the way they did. That we're all on these journeys, and that things come to be that are meant to be the way they're supposed to be for whatever reasons, for our growing and our learning and our growth in this lifetime. And so, like I said, when my youngest was 1, I woke up to a dream that I was on Oprah's stage, and I had a book in my hand, and all I got from the dream was that I was on Oprah's stage, and the book in my hand was How Cool Was Uncool Tidy. And that was it. And it was a children's book. And at that time, I was no writer. I had never written anything, never ever thought of myself as a writer, or that I could write books or anything else at all. And so that morning, though, I got up and I was so determined's not the right word, feeling compelled to start writing. And so that's what I did. I started writing this How Cool Was Uncool Tidy, knowing nothing about children's writing at all. And then I got a few books along the way, and you know, looked through all that and tried to write as best I could. And a few years passed to 2004. Now 2004, so that's 5 years later. And in the meantime, I'm just, you know, doing my own thing, trying to write these children's books, and, you know, not really getting too far, but, you know, doing my best. And way back when I was a young girl, I had actually bought myself, or I had actually gone to the library and got myself a typewriting book, how to learn to type. For whatever reason I did, it makes complete sense now, but for whatever reason, way back when I was a little girl, I had gone to the library, got this book, taught myself how to type, so I knew how to type. I wasn't great at it, but I could type. And so, anyways, from there, fast forward to the 2004, I'm walking down the street with my mom from my hometown where I lived, and we go by the spiritual store, and I see a big sign out front, psychic readings coming to town. And so I always loved psychics, always loved Sylvia Brown, thought that she helped so many people. I used to watch her on Montel, and at that point in time in my life, I felt very drawn to her in how she was helping people, and it struck a chord with me, just on how many people she helped from within what she did. And so that was always something that, like I said, really struck a chord with me. So anyways, and I loved psychics and psychic readings, and so I said to my mom, do you mind? I'm going to go in and make myself an appointment. And so I did. I went in, made myself an appointment for this psychic reading, and a few days later went back to this psychic. And as I'm going through the reading, she says to me, "So do you realize you're getting help with your writing from the angels?" And I was like, part of me was like, yeah. And the other part was like, huh? So part of me was like, oh yeah, of course. And the other part was like, what are you talking about? And so she gave me a little bit more information about different things. And I can tell you one thing, through my life, I've been to many different psychics, and some were very, very good. And I got details that came to be, even though at certain times in my life, and you'll find out from within this series, because we're going to go into all this stuff, my whole journey throughout this all. And there were times in my life when they told me things and I was like, yeah, that's never going to happen. And lo and behold, 6 months down the road, here I am doing the exact thing that they, said that I would be doing, and I was, and it blew my mind sometimes. So anyways, fast forward through that reading, I go out into the spiritual store then, and I'm led to a book by Doreen Virtue, and it's called Messages from Your Angels. And I'll never forget that book, because that was the book that really started me on my spiritual journey. It totally started me on my spiritual journey. So I took that book home and I read it. I didn't have a lot to do over the next 3 days. I was married at the time, and he was not around for those next 3 days. He was out working. And so through those next 3 days, even though I was a mom of 2 girls at that time, 2 young girls, I still took the time through the next 3 days to read through that book. And there was a lot of cleansings and clearings and different things in that book that I thought at the time, wow, this is woo-woo stuff. This is really weird for me. This is very strange. But I wasn't in the best relationship. I wasn't in the best, I consider that a very dark time in my life where I was sort of like in the hubs of hell. And so I figured, what have I got to lose? That's what was going through my mind, that, wow, this is woo-woo stuff, but what have I got to lose? And so I did all of those cleansings and clearings throughout the book, throughout those 3 days. And when I was finished the book, I went back to the spiritual store and I talked to one of the girls there that owned the spiritual store. And she said to me, because I was like, well, now what? Where do I go from here? And she said, well, have you ever tried channeling? And I said, I haven't. I read a little bit in Doreen's book on it, but it was just a very short passage on that. So she informed me, on a lot of different ways to set up to do the channeling, to do, ask for the angels and your guides, and to be, watched over. And to this day, I always do that, certain specific things. I also used to back then, I don't anymore, but I used to set up music to slow down the vibrations so that I could hear the messages more clearly, which at the time when I was first starting this, I really didn't know that, but she mentioned that. And so I did get that. I did get the music. I got some angelic statues to set up, and I set myself up a little area downstairs with my computer, because I could type now, with my computer, and I sat at my computer and I set up all of this like a ritual almost on bringing this all on forward, getting help with my writing and channeling, just whatever, I guess, just whatever would come. Little did I know what was going to come. So that first day, I got a message. I'm sitting at the computer and I get the message, why do you want to write this book? And the first thing that comes to my mind, I say, I don't think it was a verbal, but it was in my mind, I never want another woman to ever have to go through what I have. That's why I want to write this book. And I got the first 2 lines of the first book that ever came through me for all of you and for myself at that time, because these were tools that would help me to come out of the depths of my life, the what I called like the hubs of hell of my life at that point in time in my life. And so the first book, after it was all channeled and everything else, they named Helpmate from Above. From this life to the next, a message from the angels. Now, they wanted me to just sort of like tell you a little bit about what the books are about. I'm going to give you the first 2 lines that came first of all when I first was starting this channeling. So after they asked me, why do you want to write this book? And I said why I wanted to write this book. Then I got, it all started way back when I was a little girl. I had deep brown eyes and jet black hair. I knew little about this world except the fact that I was in it. Life was blissful when I was growing up, and I had few to no worries. And that was it. That's all that came. And I was like, ooh. And this was a little scary at that time. This is now 14 and a half years ago, because, I couldn't tell anybody. I didn't want anybody to know. People are going to think I'm crazy. Also, the first 2 lines gave me the feeling that the books were going to be about me and my life. And I was like, I've never I'm not an angel. I've done things in my life that I'm not proud of. I've done, we all go through experiences in our life, make choices in our life that we're not so proud of, but you know what? All of those things help us to become or make us become the person that we are today. So I don't see anything in my life anymore as hindrances or failures, or even though I've been through so many things, failed businesses and so many other things in my life, I don't ever think of them anymore as failures. I think of them as seeming failures only because they have propelled me to become who I am here today. And had I maybe not failed or seemingly failed at those things way back when, I wouldn't have become or come to be the woman I am today, and to come into doing the things that I do here today with all of the channeling that I've done here. Now bringing this all on forward to and for the betterment of all of you here as well, and to and for the betterment of the whole world here as well. So for me, it's all about, becoming our best selves so that we can then help others to become their best selves as well, and to live their best lives. And so that's what I'm here for now, sharing all of these materials and all of myself and my experiences for all of you from within all of this, simply because what I've been through and gone through, and what I'm sure a lot of you are going through or have gone through, you can relate to me as I can relate to you from within all of these past experiences, and now knowings and beings and doings and havings from within all of it all. All of these awarenesses that have come from within all of these experiences have, made me or created for me to be who I am here today. And so I don't think of any of it as negative, because I wouldn't be who I am today had I not gone through the things that I've gone through. But at that point in time, I was like, ooh, I don't know if I want to write this book. I don't want people to think, well, for one thing, they're going to think I'm crazy. But for another thing, do I want people to know all about my life and what I've been through and what I've done, blah, blah, blah. So that night I went and, relaxed, had a bubble bath, thought about all of these things. Didn't tell anyone. Didn't tell my husband at that time, because he would have thought I was completely nuts. Really, I couldn't talk to anyone at that point in time. And so I just took it all in and mulled on it all for the night. And, by the next morning I was like, you know what? If this is going to help a lot of people, bring it on, And I probably used a little more harsher language, because sometimes I can have a little bit of a potty mouth. But that again is another learning process from within all of these that we're going to find out about, because through all of these years of channeling, I have found the divine to be very, very, to have a great sense of humor, and that they laugh many times at us and the use of our words, because they say it's just a word. It's just a word. It's all of you who put, a judgment on it, or a perception on it, so that you perceive it or you see it as wrong, or this or that, or that person, you start to judge that person just by a word that was said, that came from them. So it's really been a huge, huge learning experience, a learning curve for me, like you have no idea, for the past 14 and a half years, because as I have channeled these materials, I have also then taken them all in and been living them as well, so that I can come from a place of knowing and been there, done that, and have gotten to the other side of things here now, so that I can help all others. It's like, you help yourself before you can help all others up as well. So anyway, so that's where it all started. By the next morning I was like, bring it on, let's do this. So that next morning I got the first 2 paragraphs of the book. And so the next day after that, it was so many more pages. And the next day after that, we completed the book. It was 4 days, and the first book was complete. And the end of the book, the last sentence was, "This book is a continued peace and will be forthcoming in the months ahead. Peace be with all." And so I was like, oh, there's another book. That's the first I knew that there's another book coming. There's another book in the months ahead. And anybody who knows me knows that by the next Monday, I was downstairs going, bring it on. If you want to do this, let's do this. Bring it on. So we started the second book the following Monday. But now I want to backtrack a little bit, because they want me to the only thing that I'm going to do today next is I'm going to read you the introduction to Helpmate from Above and Archangels from Above, from this life to the next, a message from the angels. And then we're going to get into a card reading. And then when we come back for our next session here, or our next podcast, or whatever you want to call it, we're going to get into a little bit more of the book. And then we're going to do some more channeling as well. So this channel is going to be all about bringing forth all of these materials, the creation series of materials, for all of you to learn and to grow from within, and also to do the channel divine card readings as well, so that you can see what the channeling is all about, and also for your own growth from within this channeling and these divine messages that come through me, for me and for all of you. So that's what this channel is going to be all about, learning and growth, and coming on into our owns like no one else, because simply they always say we each are like no one else. We each are our own truths, lights, and ways from within us, always. And it's always tuned for the betterment of the all. The channel is all about tuned for the betterment of the all. So if you're wanting to manifest the life of your true dreams only for you alone, this channel is not for you. I can tell you that right now. This program is not for you, because this program is all about, yes, for ourselves, absolutely, without a doubt, but also tuned for the betterment of the all, which means, and they've brought across so many times as well, to take others into consideration, but never, ever at the expense of yourselves. So those are just a few of the core lessons that have come through me, for me and for all others through these past 14 and a half years of channeling these materials, which I want to add, come through they all come through like dictation. But they started coming through like 3 or 4 words at a time. And then I would type the 3 or 4 words, get 3 or 4 words, type the 3 or 4 words, get. So where now it's more fluid. I can, and I can, it's just, it's been a process though of coming on into my own from within all of this channeling here as well. And it really is, as I've raised my vibrational frequency to receive these messages, these are the messages that I'm allowed to bring forth for all of you. There's many things that I've asked over the years that, basically I'm not ready for, or I have not ascended enough to bring forth some messages that I've wanted. So, just because you ask doesn't mean that you're ready for the answers, or that you will receive the answers to some of the questions that you have, simply because you may not be ready for it yet. So I hope that makes sense to all of you. So let's get right into the introduction. So the introduction to these 2 books that came was, now this is all channeled. Everything that in these books were all channeled through me for all of you. So they said, within these pages you will come and grow to know your true self, in whom God has made you all to be. It is within these chapters that you will see the true and just individual that you were intended, once and if you take the steps to make it so. For it cannot be if you do not do the work to make it so. And I want you to all know that I am not a religious person at all. I grew up Catholic, but I do consider myself a very spiritual person, because since I've been on this spiritual journey of going within, I really have come on into my own and am living my own true self soul's destiny of, or whom I really am from deep within me. And that is what I wish and want for everyone to be living here, is their own true self souls and heart's desires of. So then they said, I have been shown the way, and now you can too. Once and if you are willing to open up your hearts and open up your minds to the greatness that lies within each of us. 10 years ago, I was given a gift that I had no idea even existed within this world that we all live in together as one. In fact, I really had no idea at the time that there was even such a thing as us being as one. I was totally oblivious to the spiritual realm that surrounds us here on earth at this time and always. I now know better, of course, but back then I really had no idea. What I did learn within this process was that what seems to be is not always the way that things truly are, and the way that we believe or have sometimes been shown is the correct way to be and do and have is not always the correct way either. But I have learned that that is okay, that this life is a process, and that we are each on an individual journey of our own making. And really, would we even want to know everything? If we all knew everything about this world that we live in, what fun would that be? Just think about it for a moment. We would know everything, absolutely everything. How boring would that be? To never have a question. To never want to know the answers to some of life's grander questions that we all have within us. Within these pages, I want to share with you my individual journey. And I want you all to know that we are all on our own journey that each of us have co-created with God long before we came down here to live it. Some of you will struggle with the material presented within this piece of work, but others will know immediately its validity. It is within these pages that you will see your true self emerge or come into the forefront and merge with yourself and others. It is within these pages that we are all shown to our true selves and the whole person in whom we were always meant to be from God above. You will find and seek, if you are willing and want to do the work to become your best self, in whom you were always meant to be, only if and when you are then ready to do so, meaning to do the work to make it so. It is within these chapters that you will see your true self emerge in every sense of the word. For in order to come and to then be and do this, it is in this you shall only see within this structure the true essence of your soul within. Be true to yourself, and you will see that there is no better way to become the true person in whom God intended for you to be. Only and if you are then willing to do the work to make it truth. It is within these walls of self-worth that our self-esteem can be created and then mastered into all that was meant to be also. For it is within this structure that you will all see the pure and complete happiness that was intended for you also here and now, and for always then. Please come and join us now within this journey that we shall indeed take together. For you must know now and always that you are never alone in this, any of you. No, for this is the true and direct way to reach the kingdom of the heavens is within yourselves, at this time and always. For you are never alone, for we, the angels, are always there with you, forever, now and always in this. Be sure that you are never, ever alone in this. For we are always, and we do say this wholeheartedly, always there with you and for you. Firstly, these books are helpmates for anyone who has ever been involved in an abusive relationship of any kind, verbal, physical, or otherwise. They will help these otherwise desperate souls that are at their wits' end, that a lifeboat or a life jacket is being thrown to them, and all they need do is grab a hold, meaning read the book and hold on tight, meaning to do the work and they will be saved, meaning that they will be brought out of their misery and back into life, so to speak, as a much happier and healthier individual. Secondly, these books are a tool to guide and teach others the ways in which they should be behaving or acting towards other human beings in order to reach their true potential in this lifetime. Thirdly, they will offer support and guidance for others to dig themselves out of the depths of unconscious behavior forced upon themselves by others through abusive situations and left feeling as though they are no one and worthless. What these books intend to do is to boost their self-esteem so high that they can and will crawl their way back out of the depths of despair in which they have led themselves into through others, and bring them back into the light of day to a much happier and healthier point of view or self. These books are unique in that they are a guide for others to help themselves through divine help and healing. And what this means is that the angels are giving us a guide to live by and help us and others into the light of day, so to speak. Meaning that if they heed these words, that their lives will become so much the richer for it. And once they begin to heed these words enclosed, It is then that they will be so richly rewarded in all areas of their life here on earth. And what that means is that when they dig deep for their own answers, they will come fleeting forth to reward and remind themselves what a unique and special individual they really are in the eyes of God, as well as in their very own eyes. They richly deserve and will in the same breath be richly rewarded for their efforts within these books given to them from the divine kingdom. These books are given to readers straight from a source, not unlike their very own selves. What that means is that the author is living the very same lives, or has lived those very same lives that they are living, and she knows all of the ins and outs of these situations that they have gotten themselves into. And it is through her very own words spoken to her by us that she is giving them to others. The major points of value in these books are, firstly, as a spiritual helpmate for those in need of spiritual understanding, or anyone searching for spiritual information and what God indeed wants and needs for them to be. Secondly, they are helpmates for those in need of inspirational instruction in helping themselves out of the depths of their own despair caused by abusive relationships of all kinds. And what this means is that when others abuse them with unkind words or phrases, or in any ways possible, it is themselves who need to bring themselves back into the reality of life and into their own. These books can also be given and used as a great tool in aiding in this process that so many are finding so hard to pull themselves out of. They feel trapped within their own skin and are unsure of how or even if they could pull themselves out of their depths of despair. Thirdly, they are also a toolkit for others to come into their own in this world, to act and react in ways in which God had created for them. And what that means is that when they treat others in the same way in which they themselves would like to be treated and act accordingly, it is within this concept that others will follow their lead and start to treat them in those same kind and loving ways. Lastly, the author is encouraged to tell you to heed these words of wisdom from within these books, for society as a whole is counting upon you to do so, as are the angels within the angelic kingdom. Accept this opportunity and bring forth this guidance, so that others can and will benefit from the actions within these books, for they truly are helpmates for the good of all mankind. The primary subject of these books is a way in which to reach others as a helpmate, or tools to teach them what it is that they were put upon this earth to learn, do, and become, which is their ultimate goal in this lifetime. When they learn what it is that they need to teach themselves and others, it is in this that they can and will become all that was intended for them to be and do. These books were given to and for others to make positive changes within their direct lives, so that they themselves and others alike could benefit from their own as well as others' actions within these books. Readers will learn about spirituality and a good and just way in which to treat others and themselves. We all need to learn the basics from God, which is to be a better person to others, and they will become a better person in that same process. And what that means is that when we treat others as we ourselves would like to be treated, and we change to become a better person, that in a direct way reflects back, so that they may in return treat you in that same exact way. They are for everyone to learn to become a better person and to help others to become one and the same. And at the same time, to redirect their own lives or the lives of someone they love in ways they themselves don't even know in how to help those in desperate need of someone's help. They will be guided and able to help others by giving of themselves or in the gift giving to others, so that they too can be reached in ways that they themselves may never have been. Within these books are workmate tools for which all of mankind can work towards perfecting. Ideally, the angels would like to see these books used as tools or a workmate or helpmate for everyone in the world on how to treat others and on how others should be treated and act accordingly. If everyone could just do that, can you imagine what a wonderful place this place called Earth would be? It is almost unimaginable. The following story depicts life as it was in 2004. It has since then changed immensely. The author is so very proud of whom she has become and the changes she has made in her life here ever after. And so in this, she is showing all of you to the light of the Lord within each of you. Peace be to all. Okay, so that is the introduction to Helpmate from Above and Archangels from Above, from this life to the next, a message from your angels. And once we get through all of these materials and our card readings, we then will be going into the creation series of materials, which were the rest of all of the books and workbooks and worksheets and videos and audios and everything that is being brought forward and was brought forward through me for all of you and myself as well, in creating our best lives and in manifesting the true lives of our dreams as these magic manifestor magicians that we each truly are here and now and for always. Graduating up and on into the master manifestors that we all will become from within this whole process here, you know, as we graduate up and on into more and more and more from within all of this. So I'm going to stop there for that, for the books. I hope you guys all enjoyed that. Let's get into a channel card reading now. I'm just going to ask, I think we want to go into the gateway. I'm feeling it's the gateway oracle cards today. So let's see what information guidance that the divine has for us today. And I'm going to do a channeling from within this as well, because then you can all see what it's all about. It's really all about, and we're all capable of this. It's just a matter of us taking it on and progressing through it all. And, you know, you have to give up a lot of time and choices from within yourself to do all of this. I know in the past 14 and a half years, from within all of that, I have given up. I could not count how many hours upon hours upon hours upon hours upon hours upon hours I have given up of my own free will to bring forward all of these materials and to bring forward all of the posts and passageways that I have through my Facebook pages. Like I said, it's unspeakable amounts of hours of channeling to become the person that I am today and to help you all from within all of this. But just to know that, you know, this is accessible for all of us. There's no one more special than another that can do this that we all can't. And that is in all aspects of life. So to just know that we are all capable of these things, it's just, it's like they asked before, what do you want? What do you want for your life? What do you want for your life? And then we come forward as these true co-creators with God from within the creation series of materials, but also from within many other different ways that, you know, other channel card readers or different authors, different spiritual leaders are bringing forth all of this information and guidance for all of us from within. And so for me, it's all about, you know, what do you want? What do you want to learn about? What do you want to grow into? What do you want to expand into? What do you want to, you know, what do you want? You've got to start going within and asking yourself these questions. What do I want? What do I want in life? Who do I want in life? What do I want to be, do, have? And then start creating, co-creating with God from within you. Through these true tools that I'm going to help you all with here, but there's so many others out there in the world as well. So I am only one avenue, one step, one way to go through. We all need to discern all of this from within us. So I have found over the years that some teachers and some authors and some I really resonated with, and then there was others that I didn't at all. And so if you resonate with me and you take this within, you take these materials within you, you discern for yourself from within you, because you should have trust in yourself, your God self within, and what is right and true for you at any given moment in time in your lives. And so it's all a process of living and learning and growing into the person that you were here to become through these experiences that we go through on earth to become this person, because only when we know one end of the spectrum of experience do we know the other end of the spectrum of growth. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Let's get into the card reading. So we received, I'm going to go bottom of the deck as well. We've got communicating freely was the first card that came through. Planting seeds, reviewing your life, rising above, emerging into grace, savoring pleasure, and an overall of the reading is revealing radiance. Okay. All right. And the way that we reveal radiance is by believing in magic. Okay? We believe in magic and we fly free by letting go of challenges and launching yourself forward on the journey that is from within you, from within each of us here, individually as a whole. Meaning that we each are on our own individual journeys here, but yet at the same time, we're here tuned for the betterment of the all. And so we can co-create and create this true life of our dreams from within us, each of us individually, and also as a whole here by creating a better, new and improved world for all of us to live and to thrive from within. And so many times as I'm, going through life, I'm channeling different things. And so as I go along here, sometimes I'll get pictures of something, or I'll get messages, or else I'll actually put my thoughts to the side and get an actual dictated message. But sometimes, like I said, as I'm getting pictures or next kind of thing, or this over here, not over here, or I'll get a picture of something like a rainbow, or I'll get a picture of something from within my mind's eye, from within, that I can see within. It's like I hear from within and you can see from within. And so there's a lot, I won't talk about clairaudience and clairvoyance and all that stuff. If you're interested in those materials, there are plenty of people on YouTube, and otherwise there's authors, there's, like I said, spiritual speakers, spiritual leaders that can, what do you want? What do you want to learn about? What do you want to grow into? What do you want? Do you want to learn about astral travel? Do you want to learn, there's a lot of different things, and we're going to bring forward a lot of different stuff from within this channel here as well. But there's also a lot of other ways to learn from within. So just expand your mind, open yourself up, and trust your own discernment from within you. Always go within for your answers. Always go within with your questions. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just grab the first card here, and I'm going to put my thoughts to the side and see what we get for information and guidance from the divine through this channeling, through this dictation. So I'm hearing, so we are all here as divine leaders and teachers, they're saying. We're all here as divine leaders and teachers. And we are all here as students as well, they're saying. So from within these works of beingnesses, or ways of beingnesses, in which you're all going to learn to thrive from within and to become from within, just do know that from within this comes forward true communication, or ways of beingnesses in which you speak your truth, or ways that you can come forward here tuned for the betterment of the all by speaking your truth. Because in speaking your truth, others are then able to step forward into who they truly are from deep within them as well. Planting seeds was our second card that was brought forward. So as we continue on our pathways, or our journeys here from within these speaking engagements, so to speak, or from within these planting seeds or ways of beingnesses, as we each go along our own true trespasses or ways of life here, or ways of beingnesses here, which just means that as we continue to grow up and on into just so much more from within these ways of beingnesses, or these sequences of events in true creation manifestation, we then become all that we were meant to be, do, and have as from within all of this. And so just do know that these are sequences of events in true creation manifestation that you step up and on into as just so much more from within all of this. Like I'm feeling like as you communicate freely, as you bring forward your own true self souls in the processings of, as you step on forth into your own true self and whom you really are meant to be, to do, and have from within, all of these things will come fleeting forth to help you along your ways, along your passageways of life here. Reviewing your life was the third card that came through. So, as we all go along, continuing on here from within these passageways of true light and success here, from within all of this, we then are guided on into just so much more here as well from within these ways of beingnesses, yes, but also from within this is these ways of doingnesses here as well, which just means that as you step up and on into just so much more from within your own true life and your own true self soul's manifestations of, you then are being brought forward up and on into just so much more from within your own processes or your own processings of, or your ways of beingnesses, which then are coming forth or being brought forth from within you to then be brought forward and healed from within. Which just means that as you bring forth all of these true trespasses or ways of beingnesses, you then are brought forth from within just so much more by ways of your own injustices or ways of beingnesses that are harsher or somewhat harsh from within you, which just means that as you learn is as you grow, and as you grow is as you have been through. And so, excuse me. And so as you have been through and you have grown on, up and on into and through from within all of this, you then are releasing and letting go of those things that no longer serve you and the person you've become from within all of this. So just do know that as you are coming forth from within each of you, as only you each individually can from deep within you, you then are letting go of all that which no longer serves you and becoming all that which is here for you to become as or in the ways in which you then proceed on forward into just so much more from within your own true lives here as well, as you continue on and from within your own true passageways of life here as well. So just do know that as you are reviewing and renewing your life purposes or ways of beingnesses from within all of this, that you are being brought forward up and on into just so much more from within all of this process or these processings. And to rise above all of this, to see all of these things from a higher, deeper, much better perspective, which just means that as you go through these processings or these ways of beingnesses and become just that much more from within all of this, you have this much higher, you have gained this much higher perspective to see from within, which just means that you are then able to react in different ways of beingnesses or in different sequences of events. You are then brought forward from within. You are then able to bring forward to and for others from within this here as well, different ways of beingnesses, because and from within your own reactions of, which just means that as you react differently, you bring forth then different reactions back to you from within all of this, or these differences in sequences of events. So to rise above it all, to see this in a different way and to react in a different way is to bring forward a reaction from others in much different ways here as well. Emerging into grace. So to emerge into this grace, which just means, so to emerge into this grace just means to ease on into the opportunities of, which just means that as you are going through all of this, or these sequences of events and manifestation, true creation, as you are going through all of this, you then are being brought forward into just so much more from within all of this ease or dis-ease that you are leaving or letting go of, so that you can come on into this place of ease. Savoring pleasure. So as to each your owns comes forward to and for the betterment of the alls, which just means that as you each individually come forward to and for the betterment of the alls, you each individually will be brought forward on into just so much more from within your own true lives here, as well as from within this whole processes of individualism, which just means that as you're coming up and on into your owns here, you then are spreading the word or bringing others on into their true owns here as well from within all of this. So just do know that as you come forward, you then are bringing forward all others from within all of these processings here as well. Because as they so see you be and do as, or from within this as, they too then want to become from within this as here as well. So just to know that as you each are stepping up and on into your owns here, as only you each individually can and will and do, you then are mirroring that back, or showing all others that back to them here as well, so that they too then can progress and process themselves here as well from within all of these true processings here. And to cherish yourself as only you each individually can here as well, because self-love is the only love that is needed, because once you love yourself thoroughly through you, it then becomes so much easier to love all others from within this, from within the whole of this here as well. So just do know that as you come forward to and through you, to and for others from within all of this self-love, or these self-engagements of love, or ways of beingnesses in which you then thrive from within, because you have stepped up and on into just so much more, well, then you can bring them forth from within all of this here as well, from within all of this, or these love processings here as well, I'm hearing. So it's all about divine love and bringing forth our own true self souls process in the processings of our own true self souls beingnesses of our higher selves beingnesses of, so that we can then project that onto others to then bring them forward from within this all here as well, so that we're all here living and thriving here together as one from within all of this. So I'm just going to end the reading there. I want to thank you all for coming forward. My website is www.scripteddreamlife.com. My name is Shannon Lynn, and we're here to learn about life, learn about love, learn about growth from the angels, the angelic realm. A lot of my channelings, the creation series of materials, came through the Mother Goddess and her special band of angelic helpers from within the kingdom of the heavens, which I at the time was raised Catholic. And so when this stuff started coming through, I was like, say what? Mother God? Mother Goddess? What are you talking about? There's a feminine aspect to this. I was always raised, through the Catholic religion, that God was male. And so this was all really new to me. But I opened up my heart and I expanded up and on into just so much more. And I let come forward what needed to come forward for all of us. And so that is what I'm here for, is to help all others and myself to come forward as, the better human beings for ourselves and all others here as well from within all of this and all of these creation series of materials. So everybody have a super fantastic day, week. I guess it's Wednesday today. So have a super fantastic week, and I'll see you all here again very soon. So take care. Bye for now.